Remember when people scoffed at Sacramento because they traded for Sabonis? Well, light the beam, because this man Domantas Sabonis has been playing some of the best basketball of his life. Son of Hall of Famer Arvydas Sabonis, Domas grew up very close to basketball. After playing for Malaga in Europe and Gonzaga in the States, he came into the league as the 11th pick by the Orlando Magic in the 2016 draft.
With the 11th pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Domantas Sabonis.
Got traded at draft 9 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. He played just a season there with Russell Westbrook and moved to the Pacers, where he spent 4.5 seasons before moving to the Kings in an unsettling trade that cost them a fan favorite player in Tyrese Haliburton. Last season, the Kings finished with a 30-52 record, which earned them the 12th seed in the Western Conference. As of the making of this video, they are already a 45-30 team, clinching their first winning season since 05-06. This also places them as the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. If they are able to hold this record to the end of the season, it will be their best seeded season in 2 decades since the 02-03 season, when they had Chris Webber, Pia Stovakovic, Mike Bibby, Bobby Jackson, and Rick Alderman as their head coach. Who would have thought that a team who had the record for the longest active player drought in the entire NBA would become one of the most exciting teams to watch this season? Well, this fan had an idea.
40 wins this year!
After their winning season in 05-06, the Kings had only 2 seasons where they didn't finish in the bottom 5 of the Western Conference. They've been 11th, 11th, 15th, 14th, 14th, 14th. It's safe to say their record has been terrible, but this season they've been able to turn things around. The Kings currently hold the record for the best offensive rating in the entire NBA. They have become a threat in the West because of the addition of Mike Brown as head coach, drafting Keegan Murray, and trading for Malik Monk, Kevin Utah, and Domantas Sabonis. The massive contribution from their starting players, particularly Fox and Domas, have been the reason for their rise. Sabonis is averaging almost a triple-double. This season, his averages are 19, 13, and 7 on 60, 35, and 76 shooting splits. He leads the Kings and entire league in rebounds. On the Kings, he's 2nd in scoring behind Fox, 1st in assists, 3rd in field goal percentage, and 3rd in steals. Last February, when Sabonis got traded to the Kings from the Pacers, he thought he was going to get booed. And for good reason. The Kings had just traded a really good player in Tyrese Haliburton for Sabonis. According to ESPN, Haliburton was loved by the Kings fanbase, and it's safe to say some fans weren't happy. This guy thought the trade was moronic. This guy thought it wasn't bad getting Sabonis, but he wasn't comfortable with letting Tyrese go. While this guy thought it would be safe to abolish the Kings, etc., etc., etc. Even some sports analysts thought it was an abysmal trade.
To get their reaction on this trade. And JJ, since you tweeted, I'll start with you. What's your reaction?
This is some form of malpractice on the Kings' part. This is some form of malpractice.
I'm so proud of you.
Listen, Tyrese Haliburton has been the best player on that team. As Woj said, and unlike Richard, who says Josh Hart is his guy, I think they may know each other. Tyrese really is my guy. This is a close friend of mine. I can co-sign what Woj said. He was determined to turn things around and be part of that rebuild. De'Aaron Fox can't shoot. Sabonis can't shoot. So you're building a team around 2 non-shooters with a bunch of non-shooters. Make it make sense, Zach. Make it make sense.
The Pacers-Kings trade, when I saw it, I read it over and over and over. This is malpractice. This is NBA basketball malpractice.
I get it. Nobody wants to see a player they think is a good fit for a particular franchise traded for someone they are not sure of. But I wonder what people would be saying now that the trade has paid off.
One of the best stories in the NBA. I'm super hyped about this team, man. I cannot wait for playoff games in Sacramento. We spoke earlier this season about accountability, and I just want to be accountable for some things that I said at the trade deadline last year. Now, in the context of the trade deadline, I didn't like the trade. I should not have used the word malpractice, and I apologize for that. I apologize for that to the Sacramento Kings fan base, and I apologize for that to Monty McNair.
Upon arriving at Sacramento, Sabonis and Fox immediately proved to be a fit, contrary to what some people would think. This Bleacher Report column stated, "Yes, Sabonis is a force on the block with 18 points per game, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. But in a modern NBA that asks its centers to stretch the floor and protect the rim, Sabonis doesn't fit that particular build. In many ways, a Fox for Sabonis deal would have made more sense for the Kings from a fit perspective. But the Kings have clearly decided, at least for the moment, that Fox is the player they want to build around in their backcourt. Time might prove them right. For now, however, the NBA world is reeling from Tuesday's decision. And time has proved them right, at least for now." Sabonis himself loved and embraced the challenge of turning the Kings' lack of playoff run around and believed that this team could work out.
And the main thing for us is just to show that we can win. That numbers and all that stuff don't matter. We can show that we're two guys that if you put the right pieces and the right coaching staff and everything, we can get you wins and do something special.
He said he had goosebumps when he received a standing ovation, screaming and cheering as he came on court for his first pregame routine as a King. Maybe not everyone thought it was a bad trade. He also mentioned that something that made the transition easy for him was Fox's unselfishness, because Fox cared only about winning.
I would say his unselfishness. Like I was saying it the other day to my wife, actually. Like ever since I got traded, he really let me just be me.
Yeah.
Like usually the starting point guard maybe wants to have the ball more and stuff, and no one really likes him starting big, bringing up the ball as much as I do, but he really lets me do my thing, and I feel like we feed off each other. Like he's so fast, he gets to the rim, I can get him open, and then I let him do his thing, so it really works for both ways.
Fox, on the other hand, admitted to the fact that Sabonis is more efficient in bringing the ball up, and he spoke on how Sabonis inspires him to take over in the fourth quarter.
Whenever he came to the thing, I think he was a much better passer than I remembered. So definitely that. And like you said, with him bringing the ball up, you'll kind of see me if he kept a camera on me. If someone got a rebound and was taking the ball out, I would point and be like, throw it to him, throw it there, and he'll bring it up. So I could be struggling through the first 3 quarters, and he'll come up to me and he's like, this is your time. Like we need you. This is where, you have to step up and do what you're supposed to do. So.
It's no wonder they both made All-Star appearances this season. For a team that's made up of new players and staff, the Kings have quickly made themselves an offensive threat. This has a lot to do with Sabonis and his high IQ in making key plays. He leverages on his size as a big to impact the game, just like Jokic does for the Nuggets. On this play, you see him get the offensive rebound on a failed layup and make it into an assist for a 3-point shot. Here, he gets an offensive rebound again and passes the ball to Utah for a 3-point shot. On this play, he gets the defensive rebound, brings the ball up the court and puts a great pass to Utah for an easy, uncontested layup. And on this final play, he makes the handoff pass to Monk and sets a screen for Malik Monk to drive for the layup. The man is nothing short of a genius in running the offense as a big. Some would say he's not as good as Jokic, but that's not the point. Sabonis' value doesn't go unnoticed by his teammates and head coach.
We think he's that good. We think he has that good of a feel, or he's that intelligent. And we think his decision-making is not only good, but it's quick. And if the floor is spaced right, he's going to know who to get the ball to and when to get the ball to that person. So offensively, it's centered around him making a lot of decisions.
Being a good rebounder doesn't just make him a threat on the offensive end, it also makes him good enough on the defensive end. In their third game against the Warriors this season, he finished with a game-high 22 rebounds, making up for 49% of the entire team's rebound, while adding 26 points, scoring effortlessly on easy layups and dunks. Sabonis also has a reputation for his competitive spirit. This ESPN article reads, "At Gonzaga University, Mark Few, the team's longtime head coach, smiled reading about Sabonis' choice. In January 2015, Sabonis dislocated a finger during a Gonzaga practice. Gonzaga's next game was a likely easy win. It would be safe for Sabonis to rest. Sabonis called his father for advice," Few says, "and came back determined to play. This is a big statement because I've been here for 35 years, but Domas is probably the best competitor we've ever had here," Few says. Few still tells his new players that after every practice, Sabonis would eat and return to the court for an individual evening workout. Each day, Sabonis would hone a different skill. Hooks one day, then his weak hand, then threes. He had a plan, Phil says. He wasn't just working in quotes on his game. One time on the Kings, when he suffered a fracture on his right thumb that would have put him out a couple of weeks, Sabonis refused to sit out that long. He joked saying he didn't use his right hand anyway. This mental toughness has earned him a spot as a leader on the team. Off the court, he seems like a fun guy. In his own words, I am a big believer in getting to know people off the court. If we are close, it's more likely you fight for your brothers on the court. No one knows how far the Kings would go in the playoffs or what the ceiling of this roster would be, but I like their chances of improving as a team with the pieces they have, and I trust every Kings fan is enjoying the ride. Hey, so if you enjoyed watching this, you can check out these other cool videos as well, and I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up, to subscribe, to leave a comment down below so I'll know what your thoughts are and what kind of videos you'd love to see on this channel.